What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN USD. It is the 10th day of December. Here we are sitting at about $0.00516. 6 hours, 56 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into it, my friends. So we have pulled back a tremendous amount. We've actually gone all the way down to the money zone, and I don't know if we've actually looked at this fib. All right, well, what got me looking into this fib here is that we took this, I took this low to high. I actually just had it pulled up if you saw. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, it's not that we're not respecting this fib. We found respect all the way through it. But what we're doing here, this is pretty, just not normal, not typical behavior. I mean, you found support just below the 1414 or just above it there. Like that's not normal there. The way that we're disrespecting this 1272, it's not really something that you typically see. And that's okay. You know, but by now, normally you would have either made a move back higher or lower. So the fact that we're moving sideways is kind of weird, and I feel like we're disrespecting this fib a little bit. That's a very discernible low to high. But it made me think in my head, I'm like, what if this is not the fib for this move down? What if this is? Because even though, yes, from a high to a low, this is all one big trend, one big phase here, more or less. What if this phase is technically different than this phase? That's the thought that I ran with. And if this phase was different than this phase, then I would take this low to this high as my discernible kind of fib extension, right? Like here, this is your discernible pivot before you actually proceeded lower. I think this one, if we were just considering this for what it is, I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to explain my thought logic here, but if we look at this, we're showing more respect, right? Like here, you found support just above the 1414 again, which is kind of odd. But you did pull all the way up to the 886 immediately. And then you came back down, you pulled back to the 886, you found resistance, confirmed it multiple times, so you came lower, right? Here we are all the way down at the money zone. And this, coincidentally enough, actually reminds me of a different crypto. But in the totally opposite remarks. Let's look at Zcash here, Zcash USD. And we take the weekly look, and we go from this high, from the high in December of 2024 to the low in February of 2025, and we put it on the daily time frame. Okay, first and foremost, on the weekly time frame, notice how we're at the 2886 all the way up here. Okay, notice how that's where we are. We look at the daily time frame, and not all of this move behaves the same way that OnyxCoin did. It's more of just the end results that I'm focusing on. But look at this like double top kind of scenario here at this level. You know what I mean? If we were to flip this, I don't know why it won't let me flip it. Come on. It's taking its sweet time. I think it's loading. Yeah, it's like a lighter color here. But whatever, I won't worry about it. But if we were to invert this, if this was coming to the downside, it's kind of unfortunate that we can't invert it. That was the whole point. Maybe I could invert it with XCN. You see how it's like the similar result here? Like here you went from your 2886 level all the way down just below your golden ratio, right down to your 2272. Here we went from our 1886 level, we went up to the 2272 first, but we did a double bottom at the same level here where we double topped, and then inevitably went below the 2272. Okay, here we go. If we were to invert it, it's like the same thing. It's almost like it's the exact same, and obviously these fibs are taken from different levels, but it's like the same thing. And I'm just wondering, because I am anticipating that Zcash continues to drop to about $170, $160, something like that. I'm considering that that's what's going to happen. I'm wondering then, in that same aspect, would OnyxCoin make the same move, but because this is inverted and we'd be expecting a drop, could this, the regular non-inverted chart, promote a pump? It's just my thought. And here with this chart, I do assume that we're going to go to the golden ratio, or somewhere around there at least. So then the next target here would be about just below 1 cent to maybe around 1 cent. That makes sense to me. I mean, we're in the target zone right here. The 1886 to the 2618, that's the secondary target zone. Typically, you know, you find significance within this zone, and then you build to this zone. You find significance there, and then you build to this zone. You know, and that's where you're moving up all along, but your consolidation phases would ideally take place within these confines. So I don't know how much sense I'm making there. All I'm trying to say is Zcash finding resistance at its 2886 in a double top way gives me hope that OnyxCoin will find support on its 2886 in a double bottom kind of way. All that rambling and nonsense to just get to that point there. I don't know. It's something to think about. It's just a coincidence, maybe, but it looks very similar just to the to the directly opposite effect. So maybe we'll get similar results. If we look at this on the 1 hour time frame, again, these pump and dumps are a little bit different than what we're accustomed to, right? A little bit different, a little bit more consistent, but it could be the same thing that we've seen before. It could, and when I say that we're accustomed to, I mean these pump and dumps and these pump and dumps, they, to me, seem different. Where all these other ones that we had before, they did not last, they did not linger as long, and they didn't have as much volume. I am assuming that this double bottom could play out, but if I'm wrong, there's a possibility that we could go lower. We could go down to 0.004 or even below that. It's important to be open-minded to that, because if you're just assuming the sky is coming for you, but then we do this first before the sky, you're going to make the worst decision. You're going to panic sell. You're going to feel like the sky was a lie, but really it's just the path forward was not what you idealized, right? Ideally, we just move up from here. But maybe we move down first. Maybe we get a lower low first, and then we move up. Whatever the path is, wherever the road takes us from here, all paths will eventually shift higher. That's my expectation. We look at the 1 hour time frame here. RSI is technically bullishly postured. I mean, you have lower lows in your RSI, and you do have higher lows in your price. It's hidden bullish divergence. You're getting overbought, and you're not getting oversold. Clearly some buying pressure coming in here. This is definitely buying pressure. In what is a low liquidity, low market cap coin, a lot of buying pressure is going on here. Stochastics look ready, and they look reset, I should say, and the MACD is actually right at a point to bounce as well. You're building bearish momentum here in the MACD, and yet you have higher lows. 4 hour time frame here, if we're looking at this, I do want to zoom in because we're kind of like so far zoomed out. Let's make this a little bit better. Can I make this smaller? It just seems like it's taking up so much space. There we go. A little bit smaller for all of them. On the 4 hour time frame, the RSI is providing lower lows, low, lower low, lower low, lower low, and the price is providing higher lows. It's hidden bullish divergence. It's good, right? Like, imagine this is your pressure point. You can't break past it. That's the maximum capacity of any of these moves. Well, now you're starting from a lower point. You have more room to grow. And that's not the maximum capacity. We can go well through that, but I'm just saying, case in point, if we were to move higher, we're coming from a lower point in the RSI. We have more room to run before we get hot, before we need to cool off. That's a good thing. Right? It's a really good thing. We're like take it for example like this, where we are here in the RSI. We were here in the RSI before we made this nice little move up. So we're at a lower point. If we were to see a strong move, we didn't even get into the overbought zone. If we were to get into the overbought zone, guys, we'd see a move that was large, like tremendously larger than this. We'd see something that takes us above 0.007, and that can happen like that. We've got all these random buying wicks coming in. I think there is some design for accumulation going on, and the next move up might take us above all these highs. By the way, if we get above these highs here, there's zero doubt in my mind at that point that this is a double bottom. It's a kind of weird, ugly W of a double bottom, but it's a double bottom. There's a low here and a low here. It'd be a double bottom. Getting above this point validates that. Getting above 0.0, basically 007, validates that. And that would likely, if this is a low that we're validating, it's a very substantial low to validate, and it also runs back with that idea of Zcash taking a double bottom here. I mean, this could seriously shift the momentum to the upside. And this is why I'm very much expecting that the next move up doesn't take us to 0.007, but takes us through it, takes us to 1 cent, probably above 1 cent, but at least somewhere around it. Maybe, and we saw that the golden ratio is at, of this extension here is at like 0.009. Maybe we do stop just below 1 cent. Regardless of what it is, though, from the current price of 0.0517, we should see anything from a 71%, I think, 71% to 165% pump. I don't think that we'll stop it at anything below 1 cent. I really do think that we'll get above 1 cent, but time will tell from here. And this should happen, I think, if I'm right in my timing, this should happen within the next 2 weeks. I mean, it could happen tomorrow. It could happen in 1 day, tomorrow. It could start tomorrow, and we don't get there until 2 weeks later. But I think sometime, however it happens, whether it's fast or methodical, deceitful, takes its time, it's shaky, whatever, I would assume we would be there by Christmas. We would be, and when I say there, I mean something above 1 cent. So Christmas might come early for the OnyxCoin people, and that's not even Christmas. That's just, it's a little give back. But with that, the positive, why I'm saying Christmas comes early here is not because we're through the roof because everybody now who's invested in OnyxCoin is in the green. No. There's a lot of people who bought. Unfortunately, most people bought these highs and most people bought these highs. Unfortunately, most people did not buy down here, right? Or lower. Right? Most people did not buy down here. So unfortunately, this pump is not going to produce a lot of green for a lot of people. It'll produce some recovery. Some people can have a chance to get out, maybe go into other projects if they want to. But what this does produce is not insane growth. It is insane growth in a short amount of time. But what it produces mainly, I'm just trying to get to it. I'm beating around the bush here, is a break of this trend. It's a break of this trend. It's a significant break of this trend at a very significant level to find a double bottom, not just in the US dollar price, but in the Bitcoin price as well. Right? We look at XCN BTC. And we're finding support down here at these prior areas of resistance, a very significant phase of consolidation down here at the lows. Take a low to a high. We're also right at the golden ratio on the XCN BTC pair. And of course, we've got bullish divergence on the weekly RSI, bullish divergence on the weekly stochastics, bullish divergence on the weekly MACD. We've got bullish divergence on all of these indicators, very significant indicators on a very significant time frame, the weekly time frame. This bullish divergence will likely cause a move that won't just break out in the US dollar pair, but will break out in the Bitcoin pair as well. A standard retracement from here, wherever that might be, let's just see from a high to a low, the 382 is a pretty standard retracement. I mean, that right there, from the current valuation, is about 120% away on the XCN BTC pair. If it's 120% away, I assume by default then that we would see something greater than 120% here on the US dollar pair, something that is above 1.1 cent. Right? And we've got a lot of bullish stuff going on with the US dollar price too. We're finding support here where we found resistance before, where we found turbulence before. We are from this low here. Come on now. If I can get it. There we go. Low to high here. We are right at the golden ratio as well. I think we actually stopped just above it if I'm remembering correctly. Yes, just above it there. I'm trying to delete this white line here. There we go. Just above it there. But that's actually more bullish than it is bearish. Right? That's actually very bullish because we're not the only people that have the Fibonacci tool. There's plenty of other people that do. And that implies then that this level here, which is also coinciding with prior resistance on a very significant scale, which was a very significant move, there might be a lot of buying pressure here. There's probably a buy floor. And either there's not enough selling pressure, which I could believe, or there's too much buying pressure, which I could also believe that's preventing this from going lower. That's what's called front running. The most bullish outcome you could have with the golden ratio is to actually not touch it, is to do this exact thing. It is the most bullish outcome. But it's tricky. It's a tricky outcome because can you depend on it? Is this just an inevitable date with destiny and then we go lower and then we come up, right? That happens. This happens more often than this does sustain itself. So there are some implications in the charts that suggest that this is a double bottom, that we do move higher. But again, just be open-minded. If we go lower, golden ratio support here, resistance there. We got all this support coming from back in time there, very significant levels of structural support. And the XCN BTC pair, we've got tremendous bullish divergence across the board. So even if we go lower, don't panic. The big move is about to happen, or if not the big move, at least some life should come back into OnyxCoin here, I think, over the next couple of weeks. And when I say next couple of weeks, it could mean between today and 2 weeks from now, this move is going this whole time. It could mean that this next week is boring or sideways or even to the downside, and then we move up the next week. It could mean tomorrow we just pop, and then the next 2 weeks we're consolidating. I don't know how it's going to look. I just think if I was to give it a time frame before Christmas, I do assume that we will see something at about 1.1 cent. And the reason why I'm giving it that time frame is not because I'm trying to play off of Christmas or Santa, but because of this weekly bullish divergence, which is just so severe in the MACD. I mean, just we're so close. We're so very close. And when this shifts, I think it's going to be a quick shift like that. But I've got nothing else. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the like button, please, and thank you. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.